This is Elite Ranmond and this is my first video. Uh, in this video, we're going to talk about phones launched in this quarter, and the phones which we're going to discuss. We're only going to discuss the battery, the performance, and the display of the phones. We're going to start with the Realme 6. The Realme 6 has a great display. It has a 90Hz display which is smooth as butter, and it has a great processor which is the Helio G90T. It's great for gaming. It has a great graphic processing power. It's better than the Poco F1. For those who are wondering that Poco F1 is better than the Realme 6, and it's a great phone. It's a great phone for PUBG players. And the battery isn't going to last long. So when you are in the 90Hz mode, the battery isn't going to last long. So better keep an eye on the battery. And next up we have the Realme 6 Pro. Now Realme 6 Pro is not a huge disappointment, but it's good, but it's not as good as the Realme 6 because it has an inferior processor when compared to the Realme 6. It has the Snapdragon 720G, which has a better CPU power than the Realme 6. It has better CPU power than all of the phones which we are discussing right now. So in real time, when you're going to open apps, when you're going to close apps, it's going to be faster than the other phones. So, but the graphical power isn't as great as the Helio G90T, and it isn't as great as the Snapdragon 730G, which will come in the Poco X2. But yeah, it's a good processor overall, but it's not as good as the Helio G90T. Now coming up to the Redmi Note 9 series, Note 9 Pro series. The naming is really wrong, which I didn't like. And aside from the naming, the specs aren't as attractive as they were. The Redmi Note 9 Pro and the Note 9 Pro Max, they have the same displays. They're just different the camera part. So they have the Snapdragon 720G. They don't have a 90Hz display as Realme 6 Pro and Realme 6 did. They're not as smooth as the Realme 6 and Realme 6 Pro because they had the 90Hz display and this did. This has a 60Hz display, which every other phone in the world has. So I'm really disappointed with the Note 9 series. They're not as great as they were. Note series are generally exciting. So I'm gonna skip this part. I'm gonna skip the Note 9 part. They're not as good as I expected. Now coming to the Poco X2, this has the Snapdragon 730G, which has a weaker CPU power than the Snapdragon 720G, but has 15% advantage over the Snapdragon 720G in terms of GPU. But when you compare it with the Helio G90T, which we had in the Realme 6, it's not as powerful as the Realme 6's Helio G90T. So the graphical power is impressive, but not as impressive as the Helio G90T. The CPU power, it got beaten up by the Snapdragon 720G, and the Poco X2 also has a 120Hz display, which when you compare it with modern gaming PCs, it puts the modern gaming PCs to shame because 120Hz display isn't a joke. It's more smoother than the 90Hz display. When 90Hz display is smooth as butter, this thing is even more smooth than that. So 120Hz display is a good thing, but it's gonna drain the battery really quick. This thing has a 5000 milliampere battery, but that's not enough for 120Hz display. And this is the Samsung M31. It doesn't have a good processor for PUBG, but it's great for PUBG. It's not bad, but the main thing about this phone is the battery. It has a 6000 milliampere battery, which can last for 2 days, I guess. It doesn't have It doesn't have the 90 and 120Hz display as the other phones did, which is okay, but it's a feature which most of the mid-range phones are having right now. So Samsung M31 isn't actually a gaming phone. It's more focused with the cameras. So it has a good display. It has a 6.4-inch AMOLED display, which is which looks better than the other displays. Uh, and and yeah, it's not a gaming phone. And when you compare all the phones, the one you have to pick for PUBG is the Realme 6. It has a great processor for PUBG. The processor is better than the Snapdragon 845. And I'd also recommend the Poco X2, which has a 120 Hz display, which the ROG 2 phone had. Uh, it's a flagship phone last year, but yeah, it's great that the phones in the mid-range category are having displays with higher refresh rates. So now, if I had to recommend for PUBG, it's the Realme 6 Pro and the Poco X2. If I had to recommend like if I had to recommend for daily use, it's the M31 because it has great battery life. Uh, I'm not recommending the Note 9 series for anything because they're not good this year. So I'm gonna skip the Note 9 series. I feel really bad for those phones. Though Realme 6 and the 6 Pro are good for PUBG, 6 Pro isn't good for PUBG. The Poco X2 is. Though they are good for PUBG, they don't have enough battery to sustain the refresh rate. For example, Realme 6 has the 4000 milliampere battery, which isn't good for a 90 Hz display. And that's it. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching.